Hey, Mental Fitness Matters community. I am back with part three for the series that we are doing right now on perspective, on how to create happiness and success by shifting your perspective. If you have missed parts 1 and 2, feel free to go back and check those out. If you are just tuning in, I told you guys I was going to create you guys a toolbox or just a toolkit that gives you pretty much a framework, especially if you're someone right now who's working on shifting your perspective to a more positive and healthy one, trying to create that positive mindset. This show is just designed to give you guys a quick toolbox and framework on how to begin to shift your perspective to a more positive and healthier perspective so that you can create the happiness and success that you're looking for in your life. And I have really kind of created this so that you guys can use it for any area. Remember, if you listen to show 1 and 2, we have perspectives about everything. So this framework can be used to kind of plug and play with the perspectives that you are working on changing for yourself, or at least taking a look at. I am a firm believer that we are going through life. So many different things are happening. We're experiencing so many different parts of life, highs and the lows, ups and the downs. This is no way a means saying you got to be happy all the time or choose positivity all the time. It's really about being human and recognizing that we are human, So this tool and these tools are saying that life is going to happen. There are going to be moments when your back's against the wall. There are going to be moments where you feel like you don't know if you can go on. So really creating a perspective and training yourself on how to see another side is going to be so useful for you to be able to get back up when life happens. That's what this is about. That's what this community is about. Giving our community and ourselves tools that when life happens, we are mentally fit to withstand the blows. So I think it's very important that all of us can benefit from taking a healthy look, a healthy reflection on how we have gone through life and the perspectives and the beliefs and the way of living that we've picked up along the way. We can all benefit from just evaluating where we are. I am not the same person I was 10 minutes ago, let alone a year ago, let alone 5 years ago, let alone 10 years ago. So much of me continues to evolve on a daily basis that giving ourselves a place and a space and a permission and a framework to say, you know what, let me take a look at this. This might have worked then, but a lot's happened since then. I got to pivot, I got to adjust, I got to shift. So this episode right here, part 3, is really just a toolbox that you can begin to use to create a framework so that you can know that if you're working on changing your perspective or shifting your perspective, this is the framework that you can follow and just kind of plug and play with the perspectives that you're looking to adjust or shift or just even examine. All right, so let's get into it. What I want to start with, especially as we're talking about creating this framework, remember the very first tip I gave you guys was to be able to ask yourself these questions. Really just identifying, what is this belief? What is this perspective? What is it? And how is it serving me? So with the framework, what I want you to be able to do, the very first thing you got to do is identify where you are. So as you're taking a look at the things you want to adjust, just say, what is my belief around this thing? Let me use money for an example. I think finances, money, that's a big conversation. People always want to know how to create that mindset around more wealth, money, not just wealth, because wealth looks very different for people. So I'm going to say money. So we're going to use money as the thing that we're wanting to shift our perspective around. So the very first thing I want you to do is, number 1, ask yourself what the belief is around money. So that's the example that we're going for. What is my belief around this thing? Remember, we have perspectives about everything. What is my belief around this thing? So the question to you would be, what is my belief around money? And let me give you an example, because we pick up perspectives along the way. Not only what is my belief, before I give you an example, let me just go through the list of questions you're going to ask. What is my belief around this thing? So what is my belief around money? Where did that belief come from? Does that seem accurate or true now? Now that I have the information that I have, and now that I know what I know, does that belief or thought seem accurate? And can I see another side of that? And then finally, from what I currently know and where I currently stand, do I want to stay here? Is this belief something I want to continue with, a perspective that's something I want to continue with? Is it serving me, pushing me forward, or can I adjust it? Can I make some shifts? So let's start with the first one. Where's the belief? What is the belief around money? So let's say, for example, you're working on shifting your perspective as it relates to money coming into your life. And when you ask yourself what that belief is, do you believe that money is something that you can attain? Money is something that's in your pipeline. If you have a belief around money that says money is only for those people who are born into wealth and prosperity, then that's a belief that you have around money. If you believe that money is something that, and only the way for you to get it is if it's passed down, or if you happen to win the lottery, you got to look out to get money, then that's a belief that you have around money that you need to explore. If you have a belief around money that money is evil, there's no good that comes from it, more money, more problems, that is a perspective and a belief that you have around money. So you want to begin to assess that as well. So very first thing you got to start with, as you're trying to create this framework for shifting your perspective, you want to know what your perspective is. What is your perspective or belief around this thing that you're trying to change? So those are just some examples around perspectives or thoughts around money that you can have that could be holding you hostage or keeping you stuck. Remember, this stuff doesn't just come from anywhere. It comes from a place. So after you know what the perspective is, after you know what the belief is around that thing, now you want to go a little further. Where did it come from? Where did it come from? So let's say, for example, if you have grown up in lack mentality, or if you've been in an environment where you were just kind of getting by and money just wasn't something that was available, and those types of resources weren't available from where you grew up, and everything was, we don't have enough money to get this. You don't need that because we don't have enough money. Be grateful for what you do have. You know, those types of thoughts. And if you heard that kind of coming up, you can say, maybe this is where it's come from. If I have thoughts around money and abundance, whether I deserve it or if I'm worthy of it or how it should be used, you want to assess, where did that perspective come from? So that's going to take some time where you just go back, push pause on this part of the video or audio right now, and just kind of make you a list of, you know what, where did that come from? What was my environment like as it relates to money, as it relates to having things and needing things? Was that a mindset that we just don't have it? We don't have any money. So, and did your expectation from that begin to think that, you know what, I'll just have enough to get by. That's all that I need. And this is what I have. So let me be grateful. And yes, gratitude, all those things are important, but you want to begin to dive deeper into where did these perspectives and beliefs come from. Number one, what is the perspective that you have around money? Where did it come from? And now you want to get to the next part. Does that belief or thought seem accurate now? Now go to your present day. Now that you know where it came from, let's take a look. Does this still apply? Do the rules and the thoughts and perceptions around that thing still apply here? And if you were to say, okay, now I know where it comes from, but I'm not sure if it fits me now. Times have changed. Situations have changed. The opportunities that I have before me have changed. They look a lot different. So I can figure out ways that I can accumulate money and wealth from several streams of income. That looks different from my scenario right now. I can understand and see how that worked or didn't work then, but now this same perspective doesn't really apply here. So you want to ask yourself, after you figured out what your perspective is around the thing and what that belief is around the thing, and after you've identified where it came from, does that belief or thought seem to still apply now? And is it accurate for you now? So you want to ask that question. Is this something I've made up, or is it still true now? And can I see another side of it? Can I see how my belief before has shaped the framework of who I am and my experiences now, but does that not apply here? And you can make that decision based off of your new knowing. And then the last thing I want you to be able to ask yourself is, okay, how, in now knowing what I know, from where I stand right now and knowing what I know right now, do I want something different? Am I okay with where I am in terms of how my perspective is guiding me, is leading me, is moving me forward? Am I okay with that? Or do I want more or something different? Or do I want to adjust? And if I say yes, I want to adjust, or no, I don't, what would that look like? What would that look like? So this is where you begin to say, okay, now I can put this framework in place to begin to shift my perspective or keep my perspective the way it is if it's serving me, right? So this is going to allow you to dive deeper in terms of how you got where you are, where you've been, but also where you're going. All right. So now asking yourself, now that I know what I know, am I okay with how those things are going? And should I keep on this path, or can I make some, or can I benefit from some healthy shifts and adjustments here? And I challenge you guys with all of these things that you plug into here. Not only first, yes, taking a look from your viewpoint, from your vantage point, from what you can see, but then I want you to flip it. After you go through those 5 things about what is your perspective or what is your belief around that thing, where did that come from? Does that seem accurate now? Does that belief or thought or perspective, does it seem true or accurate now? Can you see another side of that? And from where you stand and what you now know, is this still a path you want to continue down? Is it still serving you? I want you to flip those questions and reverse it to the other side, to the other person's point of view. Try to put yourself in their shoes. Okay, so not only taking some healthy reflection from where you stand, but now try to put yourself in the other person's shoes in terms of where they may be standing or where they're coming from. Or especially when it comes to how did they get here? Where did they come from? If people have been in situations that have not been so healthy, that they haven't felt good about themselves, they haven't been lifted up, that attitude and that perception, that hurt, that pain, that trauma, that anger could be definitely trickling over into what you are seeing today and what they are feeling today. But maybe they've never had a chance to turn the mirror around and just kind of look at themselves in a way that's different and standing on the other side. So that is the framework, guys. And you can literally plug every perspective that you have about everything into that. And I think that we all need to do that often because the world is constantly changing. You can change your mind, you can change your perspective, you can change your viewpoint. When you get new information, you should make changes. I think we've all experienced that in the time that we're living right now in terms of a world pandemic. We've all had to pivot, change, and adjust the way we've done some things. And being able to use the things that we have learned from that and say, you know what, we can do inventory for self often. We should do inventory on self often. So that's the framework. I hope that's helpful for you. I wanted to give you a quick toolbox toolkit on how you can now take what you learned in part 1 and part 2 of creating happiness and success in your life by shifting your perspective. I wanted to hop back on and give you guys the framework in which you can go about doing that. Now you can plug any perspective you have into these little questions that you can ask yourself. What is my belief or perspective about that thing? Where did it come from? So you want to know, where did this come from? Where did I learn this? Where did I hear this? Where did I start really thinking and acting in this way? And does that perspective, thought, or belief seem accurate now or true now? And then ask yourself, can I see the other side? Step outside of your perspective for a moment and into somebody else's shoes and say, can I see the other side of that? Now that I know if this seems accurate for me, can I step outside of myself, step in somebody else's shoes and see the other side? And now from where I stand, knowing what I know, it's taking time to pause Do I think things should change? Am I okay with this perspective? Is it working out for me? And if you already have a pretty healthy self perspective and positive outlook, you could still plug things into this framework. So all of us can benefit from continuous growth and development. So it's not just if I'm working on trying to make my perspective more healthy and positive. This is also for individuals who already have a really good, healthy, and positive framework. You want to assess for you, what's your perspective? Where did it come from? Is it serving you? Can you see the other side of that? If people don't have as much as you have and believe in the same positive mentality and attitude that you come to the table with, it goes both ways. And we can all benefit and learn from each other. All right. So whether you have perspectives around money, relationships, race, beliefs, values, whatever it is, I challenge you. To take a look at yourself, take a look at these perspectives, see the other side of things, and come to the table with the open mind. All right. We want to build a mentally healthy community. That's all of us. It's not about if life happens, but when life happens, are we mentally fit to withstand the blows? And I think having a healthy perspective and being able to shift, to be flexible in our perspective is really the key here, guys. Your mental fitness matters. Our mental fitness matters. I just wanted to hop on. Thank you for your time. If this was helpful, share it. Spread this information with others. And I cannot wait to see you guys soon. I want my Mental Fitness Matters community to go out and shine bright like the stars that you are. Can't wait to see you soon. Have a great day.